So being a good speaker, good as regards form and tone and that stuff, and aggression and charisma is one thing. But then when you boil it down, when you distill it, you have to be able to find the ingredients, the meat, the substance that is what really the society is dependent on for its advancement and its progress. Okay? So I just like to issue those words of caution uh, to people at the evaluate anybody, even me, then do the same. You have to listen to everybody and critically analyze it. I spent so many years in journalism, and is that I normally, as a matter of course, I edit as I listen to people. Listen, I edit for content, for style, for grammar, for errors, contradiction, all that kind of stuff. And that is what we need to do. Do not believe. And I think what happens to the people who are there to adore the prime minister, they believe their own propaganda. They are
Mm,
paid. This, I think the most degrading term I've seen come into usage in years is an influencer.
mm,
To be an influencer, it means that you are hired hand, paid to be somebody's propaganda machine for a particular end. You're not being paid to give your analysis and train your expertise to present your conclusions on something. Your job is to make this boy look good and other people sound bad. And you are an influencer and the taxpayers' money in Barbados. That's a propagandist. We used to do those things when it was with the BLP. That was in those days. People will write letters sometimes under anonymous name or sign a letter against somebody to get the point of view across if you don't use their own name. No, people get paid and they used to be done free. Some of it used to happen on the calling programs. But no, it is an industry. It is an industry. People get paid well. We go to work every day to promote the prime minister's image. That's why if you're online or thing, you will get all kind of comments because people guys their job to listen to for things and intervene, to contradict, to attack, whatever, to shut
mm-hmm.
down. So that is part of so that is the part of the so-called democracy of Barbados today. And that is only and you see, as government you have dominance, you have access to facilities and resources. We call it the advantage of the advantage of incumbency. So you are able to use public resources to do things which nobody else can do because they don't have access to similar or equal and competing resources. So
Yes.
that is the advantage of being a government.
Yeah.
See,
I think one of the things I watch the news media in the US and different places and so on, and they sit down and they can critically analyze their leaders. The election is going on or whatever they sit down and they do that. I don't know what has happened. What I mean, they were doing it for Frondell Stewart. They did it for Frondell Stewart, but you look at what's happening in the media, even in social media. Look at what's going on. People, they want us to believe that this prime minister here is the best prime minister that we've ever had. Everywhere you go around the world, they say, "Oh, we love your prime minister. Oh, she's doing." And why are they saying that? Why are they saying that? They're saying that because of what she's saying. So they say we like when she talks about climate change, and we like. But then we live here, and we're trying to explain to them. Well, we don't see her. She's not doing much for us here. So I think it's so important for people that are in the media to sit down and really look at Prime Minister Mia Martin. Look at what she's promised that she will do. Look at what she's accomplishing. Look at the other prime ministers. Don't believe because the influencers, as Mr. Murray is saying, they're telling us that she's great, and she's telling us she's great. She's all over making sure, as she's a celebrity prime minister, all over. Then we begin to believe that she's great because we don't want to examine because we just swallow everything. You were saying something, Mr. Murray?
yeah. You, I was thinking about it a few days ago. Next time I'm on, I'm going to do a critique of the media in Barbados
A
and give you some
critique of the
insight.
what? A critique
The
of what?
media, the media in Barbados, and from my experience and knowledge, observation, why some what would have contributed greater what it is today. You have to understand it. I do it the next time I'm on, probably next Sunday if you're on. And then you begin to understand why the media is where it is. Is the way it is in Barbados today. There are a lot of factors that came into play long before 2018. Understand what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I will give you some insights into some things that you would then begin to appreciate why it is. It is, but the immediate Barbados is almost, the spirit is dead and broken and things. So, uh,
Mm.
when you were talking about those overseas journalists, they have people who do research for them and fact check. There are people they fact check, or people doing be fact checking them and sending information on their phones or their tablets at the time so they can intervene. They don't carry all that information they have. They're being briefed as
Mm-hmm.
they go along. They have the resources to do it. They have research staff whose job it is to fact check and double check to make sure you are right. You have the first right to analyze and critique everything that comes along. We are far from that. We'll never be able to afford about it. Still, there's still basic practices and standards you should seek, the nation still seek to obtain.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Very, very interesting. Very interesting. I see Dave has a video there. Go ahead, Dave.
Little pigs, let me in.
I want money. I want money. You understand?
Not by the hair on our chins. Then I'll huff, and I'll puff, and I'll blow your house in.
The Prime Minister has threatened Barbados. Everybody has come away discussing things. And they're discussing things not because it is trivial, but because the Prime Minister has threatened Barbados. I want to assure Barbadians that the Prime Minister has absolutely no authority to collect fines.
Then I'll huff, and I'll puff, and I'll blow your house in.
All that is left for me to do is to give the public the assurance that the Prime Minister, again, as she has done in the past, exceeded her legal and constitutional boundaries.
Thank you, Dave. That was a classic case of her just opening her mouth about the stint. And here comes Mr. Thorne with the law.
But
Here comes
because
Mr. Thorne with the law.
that issue with the tent, I am told, did not go to cabinet. Right? There's a process, and I have some information. I do a program for you to give you is how cabinets are supposed to work, how documents are supposed to compile, what is called a cabinet here, the process, the steps it goes. So it precludes and minimizes that kind of fold up.
Mm-hmm.
If that had been a cabinet proposal going through the rigors of presentation and comments and analysis from various departments before it went to cabinet and okayed and saw the light of day for announcement, it would not have happened because of the checks and balances, the stages would have been gone through, and there would have been any flaws. It would not reach that point because all the dots and T's should have been dotted. But unless people in the preparation of the paper or the departments who are contributing to the paper and making inputs in the paper, right? Because normally something that if that paper would have been proposed by say MTW, but
Mm-hmm.
once it would involve the police, it should go to the attorney general office for comments coming from the police department or from the Ministry of Finance. So they who would give their input because it would impact on their operations, and they would be able to say yeah or nay, make sense, no, don't do it. But if it doesn't go through that process, and my information tells me that you're having presenting a cabinet paper with a very uh, demanding uh, if you do it right. And there used to be a tradition and a practice I understand there are a lot of young people now who have been escalated in the public service to the highest right, but have not had that exposure of dealing with the preparation. If a draft, if the paper, the prime minister and the cabinet secretary determine what papers go to cabinet, and if something comes as a proposal and they themselves look at it and say that it is deficient, they send it back for resubmission, right? But if that process is not being followed rigorously, you get you get all these sets of confusion that have been having over the years because the I guess I think part of the problem told us that some of the new ways kids from the government and the consultants say that these checks and balances are colonial relics and the bureaucracy holding them back, stopping things. So you throw that aside, you rush into do it in the non non what do you call them, colonial way, in a new
Right.
way, and you make mistakes
Correct.
because
Yeah.
I mean there are a lot of criticism made of bureaucracy, but any organization has a form of bureaucracy, a hierarchy, and a system that you're supposed to follow to do your work. But those what people often call um, hindrances and delays are checks and balances meant to protect the whole process because the bureaucracy is supposed to have once the processes are followed, once the standards are met, the criteria are met, it's supposed to come up with a predictable result.
Yes.
Right. If you know that if you want when you want to have a marriage, you know there's a procedure you have to go through with the police secretary, and once you that you will get a predictable result. But if you had police sergeants at various stations making it and deciding on your be chaos. All kind of standards would apply, all kind of confusion, and you would know what is you never know what is right or wrong. So there's a need for organization or structure for say whether you want to call it bureaucracy or what to protect a system and its outcome from itself and the country from itself. Basic.
Yeah, yeah, because that's why it's in place. That's why
That's
it's
why
in
it's important.
place. And I realized with her manner, I'm learning. Listen to you and Caswell. I'm learning. I realize her manner is she doesn't follow the necessarily protocols and the what we call
I,
bureaucracy that's there to protect us. Some of it, to protect the democracy and that's why I'm saying when you're going to understand the cybercrime bill and why we have it, when you begin to understand who our leader is and what we're doing tonight. Listen, I've never met Prime Minister Mia Mottley. I don't have a personal vendetta against her at all. I am just judging from what I've seen, the fruit. She is a public figure. She is a leader. She came out and put herself out there and said, listen, vote for me, and I'm going to do these things. And I've seen what has happened to Barbados over the last 6 years. And I can see the trajectory of where it seems like we're headed. And but then you're trying to tell me what everybody wants the influencers that I'm seeing here being paid from up to $6,000 a month that they're being paid. These influencers that you're talking about, they're trying to convince me on Facebook, and they put out all these YouTube, and they pay these YouTube, a lot of these things, these African YouTubers that are writing about the prime minister, they're paid. Understand that they are paid to carry the story. You understand? They're paid to do it. These are paid people to put out. It's like if I'm traveling wherever, I went to Poland and then I send out the stuff and send it to someone to put it on their site and to promote the prime minister. Why would you need to do that? You should first of all be home working. You're not a celebrity. It's almost like she's putting herself up there like Rihanna. Stay home and do the job, because the people in the country, they're hungry. People are without drinking brown water. So come home and do the job. And that's what's not happening. And that's my issue, really. I don't have anything This is a little boy that was giving out water on the day with his granddad in St. Lucie. This is Paul Messiah's grandson. But come home and look after the people in Barbados. That's all I'm saying. I don't have anything personal against the Prime Minister. Prime Minister Mia Mottley has not done me anything personal. I know that's what they're trying to say, that she must have done something to me. No, she hasn't. I am looking at her performance. I'm looking at her. I see her colors. I see what she's doing. I see the fruit. I see the product, and I don't like it. That's it. I see the product and I don't like it. Go ahead, Mr. Murray.
One of the things that has struck me most forcibly about the Prime Minister's tenure in office is the facility and the speed at which she can create posts and jobs and titles. Because on each of those jobs or title costs money. When I was Minister of State in the Prime Minister's office in the Ministry of Civil Service, and they had responsibility for the civil service, we institute assistant, the Prime Minister institute assistant, any job that wants to be created had to go through a process. It had to go to the Ministry of the Civil Service to see whether the job, for why you need the job and whether its proposal can be justified, what it will do, etc. It had to go to the Ministry of Finance to find out how much it would cost and where would the money come from to pay for it. Right? So that again checks and balances. But no, so nobody was able to just create a job out and say, okay, hire him tomorrow, the consultant. That would have had to go to a process to justify. There's a paper trail you can follow. So there's much more control and discipline on this whole matter.
Yeah.
I don't think it's happening now.
Right. You see, all of those, and you find that a lot of persons, Barbadians of over a certain age, they're not drinking the Kool-Aid anymore because they know, well, it wear off. They know that something is wrong. People of Mr. Murray's age and even younger, a lot of them, they're the ones who know that something is wrong. They know they're not into the bread and circuses. They're not being caught up by her confidence when she speaks. They know something is wrong. And that's why I said that age group, the seniors, she's going to have a rude awakening with the seniors in Barbados. In Kenya, it was the Gen Zs. In Barbados, it's the seniors. These are the people they know that something is wrong, and they know that this is not the Barbados that they're accustomed to, and so yeah, they are responding. Yeah, they are responding. Yeah. Yeah. But if we're only 3 minutes 3 minutes away, and I want to say to those of you who have joined, and I want to thank you all so much for being with us tonight. I thought we had a great show. We want to keep praying for Mr. Thorne. I want to, again, when I do these things and nobody asked me. In fact, actually, it was one of somebody who's watching the show said that to me, and I felt it in my heart before. I think we need to be praying for Mr. Thorne a bit more. And Mr. Murray, people say to me, Marcia, you're too supportive of Mr. Thorne. And I say to them, the reason I support Mr. Thorne is Mr. Thorne stands, Mr. Murray, as a barrier. Like I see him like this. I have my hand out like this, and he stands between the government and the people. The perfect example is that tint. Him coming out, laying down the law, they had to walk it back.
I understand your position, and I agree. I have a similar disposition and attitude towards Mr. Thorne as an individual, but the role he's playing, it reminds me of the role that Bishop Joseph Attie also took on.
Correct.
Same role, because they saw the dangers. Believe me, very real dangers. Because Bishop Joseph Attie would have also worked with Prime Minister Motley too.
Yes, sir.
We've had the engagements, and I don't dwell about. She and I have had our differences, at various levels, different times. So I know what I expect, right? Uh, but I tell you, all I tell you is what I know, I saw, I heard, I read, I can remember. There's no need to lie because the material is there. It is being unfurled before your eyes almost on a daily basis. The poor governance of Barbados is something which has never before we've even come close to this in the history of Barbados, not even as a colony. So
Yeah. Yeah, and
that's a fact.
you know what I'll say, and then Dave, I know he has some music to play. Is that when Mr. Joseph Atherley crossed the floor, I I listened to people who said, "Oh, he's a mere operative. She told him to cross." And all of that, Mr. Murray. And I didn't support him in the beginning. And I vowed when Mr. Thorne crossed, I said, no, I'm not going to do that. I said I could never sit on this show and talking about opposition. And here is someone saying, listen, I'll do it. And then I'm going to not support it. I think to me, that's hypocrisy. And it says that I don't mean Barbados well. I could never be taken seriously. For me, I'm serious about what I'm doing. And so I will support Mr. Thorne and I will pray for him. And I always say it, the moments that it's not, I don't believe he's doing that, standing between the government and the people, I'm going to say it. There have been things that I've had to ask questions on, because I want to understand what is going on. So I think that for me, as you said, Mr. Murray, that position is important for Barbadians. You can't be asking for opposition. It's like you come on the show, we're providing that for you, and then at the same time you are going to destroy it. No, we are going to try to build up and be constructive, right? And build up. It's because this is our country, and we will have to build it up. Mr. Murray, final word before Dave goes, telling the people good night. I give you the final word, sir.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. Circumstances have had allowed me to be more expansive on areas which I had been considering for a while. I hope they were useful and informative. There's a
Yeah.
lot more to come on that can come. But I just want to say where Bishop Athley is concerned, Bishop Athley, from all my years, turned out to be the most decent, decent person in politics I've ever met, down to the core. Tested many times. Other people have been good, but because he lives his Christianity day by day, and
Mm.
it was a great disservice is done to him when people were made to attack him and say how he wanted more money and he couldn't get a ministry. Bishop Alfie does not take a salary from his church. Does not. He makes his money elsewhere because he's trained out the master's level. He does not take. He's supposed to have some regional leadership. Does not take a say. So it was never about making money. It was all about rising, putting his hand in and standing up at the time when he knew, because of his experience with the personalities involved, that Barbados needed that stand,
Yes.
someone to stand between them and the people. And history has proven him right. History has proven him very right. And I mean, it's still a work in process with Mr. Thorne, but so far he has justified his existence. He's justified the stand he's taken, given what he's been able to open the eyes of the public to Barbados and prevent us from falling blindly into some chasms that would have existed if he had not alerted us. And I think he has a role to continue, and I look forward to his continued contribution, him and any other who comes on the scene, to join him or whatever, to speak for the betterment of Barbados.
Hmm.
So good
Well
night to
said.
everyone.
Well said. Thank you. Thank you. Good
Thank you.
night to everybody. Good night. Good night. And
Thank
I
you.
think Dave is going to play an independent song. Go right ahead, Dave. right. Stuck this at the same place.
Sure.
Good night, everybody. We
That
tried.
must
We tried. It's sucking at this.
that might be a Philip video. Like it's
That
stopping
bit-
at St. Philip.
All right. Good night, Barbados. It's
Good night.
beautiful, beautiful Barbados.
Oh,
Okay.
good night.
Good night, everybody.
Good
See
night.
you
All
tomorrow
right.
night. God bless.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.